Well, good morning. This has really been a challenge to get here. I arrived last night and I was robbed. It was great. It was just reminded me of, I live in a little bubble sometimes. I think everybody's okay. But lost my cell phone, couldn't get contact. Needless to say, I operate with a cell phone because, of course, to find my way, I used my Waze app. Technology failed me this morning. I have a small little handset that's just for emergencies, and it's not smart at all. And when you're not smart and neither is your phone, it makes it a little bit tough to get to a venue. We're having a bit of technical problems too with my presentation, so yeah, the gods are against me today, but we're going to try and do the best we can. So yes, I was introduced as being from a company called the Recycling and Economic Development Initiative of South Africa, REDISA. We in fact do not recycle at all, and that's what I want to discuss with you today. To understand really what we're about and what we're trying to harness for the country and for you as entrepreneurs. We are sitting as a country on a huge resource that is not being tapped at the moment, and that resource is waste. And I'm going to take you through the economics of waste. I'm going to take you through some of the trends that we're seeing in the world, some of the problems that we have with the pricing of products, and why you and I as entrepreneurs aren't able to tap into this resource. Yes, we do have initiatives where people are able to make a little bit of money, and some people are making a lot more than others, but we need to have proper pricing strategies around waste. We need to understand what the value is in waste and why we're having a challenge recycling. If recycling was so financially viable, why aren't more people doing it? So these are the general questions we need to ask ourselves. If waste is so lucrative, why is it that fewer people are entering into waste? And why is it so difficult to get into the waste industry? So the argument that we at REDISA have been making since 2010 is that there needs to be a shift in the way we do things. Firstly, industrialization. And a couple of 100 years ago, when we decided to mechanize our systems, we wanted to create an industry that was, one, labor efficient and able to exploit our natural resources as quickly as possible. That's what industrialization was about. And our economy was structured as a linear economy. In other words, a take, make, and dispose economy. And at that stage, it was okay to just throw away, because we only had a population of maybe about 1 billion people. And so the earth was able to deal with the pollution, the waste that we were generating as a race on the planet, as inhabitants. But now, the trends that we're seeing in terms of population growth, we know that by 2030, we should be adding another 3.5 billion middle-class consumers to our economies. And so, of course, we have become the biggest virus on the planet. The earth is just not coping with us. And we've got to change that if we see ourselves having sustainable businesses. We need to be working with our natural resources. We need to be integrated into the biosphere. And that's really what the circular economy concept is all about. So to start it off, I want to play a video that's going to give you a nice base for you to understand the concept, and then I can take you through the discussion. Now, do I just... So that's just a short little video to hear what our young people think about us and what we will be leaving them. And they're making a call for us to rethink the future. But rethinking the future is, in fact, we have to do it. It's from a strategic perspective, we just need to do it, and simply because of what this graph is showing us. So at the bottom, you see a yellow section. The yellow section refers to the normal mining sector, which extracts virgin commodity. We know that on the timeline at the bottom, you see it's moving from 100 to 0. As time moves on, we know one thing's for sure. We will run out because our resources, our natural resources, are finite. We did a rough calculation. And if we were to mine the whole earth, which we know we can't do, we'll have about 1,400 years of mining left. So we said, okay, let's remove all the major cities, the oceans, the high mountains, and so on. And we've basically boiled it down to 347 years. Now that may seem like a long time for us sitting in this room, but if you think about the fact that some roads in London are older than that, and even the Big Ben clock is older than that, then actually it's not that old. But what you're seeing there is on this graph, is that there is a huge opportunity that exists. Because the only place we will find our raw materials, gold, silver, iron ore, lithium, whatever it is, will be from the products that we buried in our landfills years ago. And what we are saying, instead of going back to mining landfills, we should implement systems now to create what we call the urban mining programs, which is, can we collect our waste? Because it's not waste, it's a commodity, it's a product of the future. And we need to start planning now to build those systems in place, because studies have shown that if Europe, for example, were today start recycling and develop what we've done with tires for electronic waste, they would become a net exporter of gold. And that is huge. You can see the potential it has for countries and for South Africa. So what is the real problem? Why is it that we're not doing that? And the issue is really about the way we are pricing our products. At this point in time, all of you, I see we have plastic bottles of water on the table. I may never drink out of a plastic bottle, but I'm subsidizing your pollution, because we all pay rates and taxes, which then go into the collection of waste, and we know that the collection of waste hasn't been costed correctly because we just haven't priced our products correctly. There is what you call a marginal cost to society, that's the green line at the top, and that we pay whether we like it or not. Every product that we are manufacturing contributes to that marginal cost to society, because as our environmental degradation continues to happen, we're going to have to fix it by spending money sometime in the future. The blue line is what you're currently paying for a product, which is the marginal private cost. So these external costs of our products are being subsidized by you and I, the consumer at this point in time, or the taxpayer. What we're saying we should do is introduce more organizations like a REDISA, which is an extended producer responsibility organization. And what you immediately see through the introduction of an EPRO is a reduction in the marginal cost to society, because the recycling cost is closer to the private cost, and that EPRO cost, so in the case of tires, you're now paying an extra R2.30 per tire, that when you buy your tires, but you know that that R2.30 is being contributed to the recycling cost of the tire, and therefore it's not creating all of those environmental costs that we would have experienced. We had an external study done by McKinsey Consulting. They needed to confirm with us that our model that we developed for tires, did it in fact have benefits? Would it have environmental benefits, and would it have an economic benefit? The graphs at the bottom demonstrate the environmental impacts. As you can see, it's almost immediate that you have an environmental impact. Why? Because waste is not getting to landfill, waste is going into an industry, and of course it has an economic value, because now that you're diverting the waste into an industry, we need business people to take on the waste. We need people who are collecting the waste. We need people who are storing the waste, pre-processing the waste, processing the waste, and then making products with this waste. And that's where the opportunity lies, because as an eagle-eyed like REDISA, we know exactly what the supply of the waste product is, and then we build the demand by creating an industry. So to date, we have built that, and I'll share a little bit later what our achievements have been. So where did we begin? We started in 2010. There were 5 of us who got together and saw this opportunity. My focus area when we started researching the circular economy was really the potential it had to radically transform South Africa. We had an opportunity to work with a new commodity and not have to fight about taking from the old and giving to the new, but we had an opportunity that through waste we can build a black-owned industry in the country, and we can shift the balance or the imbalance and correct the imbalance. So that is really what the waste into worth concept was. As founders, we committed 100 million rand to build the system, because as you can imagine, to manage, if you want to manage a problem, you need to be able to measure it. So we needed to build quite a sophisticated computer system. All of our participants operate off a telephone, and that telephone is what is basically your procurement tool, your measurement tool, and it allows for us to manage the waste on a national basis. When we started, there was only collection and recycling of tyres sitting at 4%. By 2016, we had achieved the following achievements. We had a national footprint. We were collecting 70% of the available tyres from 4%, that was up to 60 to 70%. So that's huge. You haven't seen that anywhere in the world. Created the capacity to deal with 30,000 tons a year of ultra-large tyres. You know, these tyres that are about 5 tons each that are sitting at mines that weren't able to be dealt with. We've established a business called Waste Beneficiation. There is an entrepreneur who's been allocated to that, and he runs that machinery and owns that business today. We will definitely collect 100% of all the tyres by the end of 2017. We've created 183 SMMEs. What that means is these are new SMMEs over and above the old ones that existed who were incorporated into the program, and they support about 3,500 jobs. We've offset the carbon footprint. We've registered about 3,000 collection points. We've trained over 2,247 people, that is as of April 2016. We also have quite a huge focus on research and development, where we have 31 research students and 19 research projects going, and those are the bursaries that we were referring to. And then, of course, the most exciting project is the Product Testing Institute, which is a partnership with an NMMU University, where we're building a product testing facility. It will test tyres initially, and it will issue an environmental rating. And the reason why we need that environmental rating is, if your product is more easily recyclable, it's cheaper to handle. And therefore, if we're able to start rating tyres, we also know how to channel it into the different recycling sectors. You know, pyrolysis requires a particular type of tyre with a particular makeup to get a good output product. Crumbing requires the same. And this way we can drive up the value of the recycling and start competing with the export markets. We also have a CSI program which deals on educating children about the recycling benefits. These are just some of the awards that we've won internationally. The WEF, we've been recognized. South Africa, at one of the conventions I was at last year at the Clinton Global Initiative, I was invited to speak. The EU Commission that was there actually said to us, we Europeans may have invented recycling, but damn, you Africans have perfected it. In closing, I just want to share with you what we think the future of waste should look like. It's pointless for me to talk. I always think that a visual is better. This is just a quick 2-minute video where you can see what we're saying is we would like, as you as entrepreneurs need to work together with us to get all of stakeholders on the same page in terms of what the potential is out there. The UCT has published a paper where they've done case studies on the CSIR paper called Monetizing of Waste. And they say that if we were to harness just 13 waste streams in the country, we have 38, we will add 1.25% to GDP, which is huge in a country that's battling to get to 1%. That's just harnessing 13 of the waste streams. This is a video where we've written a plan for multiple waste, general waste, the waste that's really plaguing us all, where we have challenges, plastic, paper, glass. And I'd like you just to take a look at that, and you're free to ask any questions or come and see us at the stand.